All right, everything appears to be in order, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if I'm like a second or maybe 2 seconds late. I was waiting for the live stream to actually register that I was started streaming so that everything is good for everyone. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's not beat around the bush anymore than we already have. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. And welcome back. Sorry, I was just outside with Kento. Had to make sure that he did everything so that there weren't any accidents waiting for me when I was done with today's stream. He's a very good boy. Oh my goodness, the dog is smart. I'm not trying to hype him up or anything, but he's incredibly smart. I already got him fully trained on hand gestures, and I don't even have to say anything. I never met a dog. I never met a puppy. He's still only, a couple of months. He's still only he's 6 months. We've had him for 3 months already, and he's only 6 months, I think 7 months. But he's already housebroken. He's already well trained. The only thing about him is that he hates to be alone. He really hates to be alone, especially if he knows there's people in the house. Because as soon as we leave the room, or I gotta go and do these and leave him by himself, sometimes he'll start yapping like, no, 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 let me come down, I want to come down. He's other than that little minor thing, and it's so minor that you can just easily ignore it. Other than that, he's an incredibly well-behaved dog. I can only imagine what he's going to be like when he's 1 year old. But you guys didn't come here to hear me talking about Kenzo. You here to see me react to the newest chapter of One Piece today. And since My Hero Academia is on break, no My Hero Academia chapters to go over today, which means the only thing I got for you guys lined up right now is the One Piece chapter and the One Piece episode. Concerning One Piece as the anime, we are getting closer to 1,000 episodes. I haven't seen the 1,000 episode teaser trailer that I heard is out. And I probably won't watch it at all because I just want to experience 1,000 completely. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's go ahead and get started on today's chapter. Now, mind you, I look like I'm ready for my usual One Piece Reflections getup, which will be happening this next Sunday, since October 31st is the last day of October. It also falls on a Sunday, so expect a One Piece chapter, One Piece Reflections, and then My Hero Academia, and then the One Piece episode. So it's going to be a little bit of a long stream for One Piece, because it's going to be the new chapter of that day, and the One Piece Reflections of all past chapters in the month of October. So it's going to be a bit of a busy day for me, considering it's on a Sunday. But I'm looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and get started. In the last chapter, hold on, I need to do a little bit of a recap for myself to see all the things that happen. In the last chapter, chapter 1028, Brachiosaurus, we see Rob Lucci, and he's talking to the CP0 members on Onigashima, saying how if Kaido loses, then the world government has already sent warships to Wano to take direct control of the country. And another order that they have is to bring back Nico Robin. So it's like Enies Lobby all over again. So that's going on. Sanji is fighting with Queen right now. Queen is able to dislocate his entire head, neck, and tail from his own body. So he goes from being a Brachiosaurus into a Titan Boa. And he's able to fight Sanji. Well, he's trying to fight Sanji, and then Sanji gets crushed by Queen. But we find out that apparently Sanji's body has slowly started to turn superhuman, because his legs were broken, his back was broken, and they all snapped right back into place. And even Queen hitting Sanji in the face with his sword, Sanji barely feels that whatsoever. He just says, ow. Like in this panel in chapter 1028, he just gets hit by a full-on giant sword by Queen, and he only responds with a very, very small ow. It is written small. He was all like, ow. And the sword breaks on impact. And then all Sanji can think is all like, this sucks. I don't want to be a monster like them. And Queen is all like, what the heck just happened? So it seems that Sanji is becoming even more superhuman than he already was. It's just that it was suppressed. And now he's slowly starting to get an exoskeleton just like his brothers and sisters, which means that at some point, Sanji's going to be Sanji. went from being like your mild-mannered cook that likes to kick people to being this superhuman cook that can kick people with superhuman strength. Dog, that's just a little bit of a recap there. Let's move on to the next chapter. I'm sorry, I just had to do a little bit of a recap because I had to remember the events that happened prior. Chapter 1028. How long did it take me to do that? 4 minutes in, and it took me that long. I am so sorry, everybody. I can't see your chat right now, so if you're saying something directly to me, I can't see it because I want to focus on the chapter itself. Chapter 1029, The Tower. Reader requests, Bonnie having a soba eating contest with some otters by Arinko. And it shows Jewelry Bonnie. She's having they're both going up against each other in like it says, a soba eating contest. Jewelry Bonnie's holding her own while multiple otters are eating from multiple bowls all at once, and she's keeping up with them. The glutton indeed. And it continues right from when Sanji got hit by Queen. We see the tip of Queen's sword go sailing off into the distance. And the Beast Pirates are saying, Master Queen's sword broke, but he landed a hit on that guy's neck just now. And Sanji's looking at his cheek, and the thing is, his cheek got smashed in. Like, his face kind of moderately got smashed in. It wasn't like, oh no, I got hit in the face by a punch, but no, his face got mildly smashed in, and it stuck like that. And Queen is saying, someone is saying, was it color of armament? Whatever it was, it's impossible. And Queen is smiling, saying, I know you didn't use any hockey. I remember what Judge said once. I can give the human body an exoskeleton. I can give it abnormal regeneration. I can give it great physical strength. And most of all, an unfeeling heart of ice. And it shows Queen preparing his appendages to shoot coffee beams at Sanji. So he's saying that Judge has talked about giving the human body an exoskeleton, give it abnormal regeneration. I can give it great physical strength, and most of all, an unfeeling heart of ice. Unfortunately, due to Sanji's mom, Sora, she, after taking in that poison into her body, it didn't make it so that Sanji's human emotions would be stifled by it. It still resulted in him getting superhuman abilities. It was just repressed, but at least he kept his humanity. That was the whole purpose of her taking the poison, so that her children wouldn't be unfeeling, soulless machines like Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji are. Reiju is the exception, but she does a very good method acting of making it appear like she's unfeeling. But Reiju and Sanji are the only ones who actually managed to come out of it with their human emotions intact. But Queen prepares to shoot some coffee beams at Sanji, and Chopper says,
Sanji broke that sword with his neck. I never saw nothing like it in all my years.
And then Sanji is just thinking of his brothers, Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji. And then now it's starting to dawn on him, and Sanji says, no, I didn't mean to. I don't want to turn out like those heartless brothers. Wait, no, stop! What's happening to my body? And Sanji just starts running away. Think back. What did I do? Hang on, give me time to think. Am I going? What is it, Sanji? You're acting weird.
What is it, Sanji? You're acting weird, fella.
Am I going to lose my humanity? And that's what Sanji is concerned about. He's one of the Straw Hats, says some Beast Pirates. What's he mumbling about over there? I had to make sure that my mic was good. What's he mumbling about over there? And it shows Sanji just running away from Queen. He's distracted. Shoot him dead. That's Blacklight Sanji, right? I'm gonna bag me a bounty. And then Sanji gets shot. Sanji gets shot in the head and multiple places by these bullets, and the Beast Pirate says, yeah, got him. And Sanji looks back at him, untouched, saying, that hurt! Sanji's bulletproof now. It didn't take long for his superhuman abilities to go into effect, but Sanji is effectively bulletproof now. And then all the Beast Pirates are shocked at the fact that Sanji didn't fall to the bullets. And they're saying, what? And Queen is right behind him, still shooting the coffee beams, saying, "Put on the battle suit already. Show me the power of German science." And second floor of the castle, "Hey, what's going on?"
Mama! What's the matter?
Got him.
Got a migraine, kid? Hera, Napoleon, let's help him with that.
And Law is watching Kid just fall to the ground, because remember, his life is still attached to Hawkins, and whatever's going on with Killer and Hawkins right now is affecting Kid in the middle of this fight with Big Mom.
Hera, Napoleon, let's help him with that.
And it shows Hera imbuing Napoleon with straight lightning. Remember when Big Mom would use Prometheus and just cover Napoleon in fire? Well, now she's using Hera to cover Napoleon in straight lightning, which is the first time we've seen that sort of thing. She didn't even do that with Zeus.
Napoleon, Hera, Napoleon, let's help him with that.
Yes, Mama. And Kid and Law is just saying, "Eustace!" And Kid is just on the ground. And Kid is holding his head. Ugh, darn it. What's wrong with you? You're useless right now. Shambles! And Law shambles himself directly in front of Mom and uses Counter Shock! And hits Big Mom with Counter Shock directly in the face. And Prometheus is just in the background, says,
"Nobody does that to our mama."
And Law gets hit by a blast called
Stolen Fire!
He gets hit with a pillar of fire, just point blank. And then it shows Big Mom bracing herself and just flipping into... Here's the thing. Big Mom is massive. She is 22 feet tall. She has got to be like several tons. And she's just casually jumping into the air, doing multiple front flips as she's preparing to smash Kid with
Mama Raid!
So it looks like when Napoleon is sheathed in Hera's lightning, that this is a new move from Big Mom, Mama Raid. And she tries to smash Kid with this attack. And it shows Kid and Law just laying on the ground in front of Big Mom. And Big Mom is just grinning ear to ear. And she just says,
"Hmm?"
And Kid gets up.
"Headache? No. What's happening to me? I finally reached the 4 Emperors. If I die now, what was the point of my whole pirating career?"
Mama! You're funny, kid. It looks like you might die all on your own. I don't have to do a thing.
So does Big Mom know what's going on right now? Oh, and we cut to the third floor, Killer versus Hawkins, and it shows Killer saying, "Stop!" and he's laughing. And it shows Hawkins busting, he's just headbutting these that's why Killer Kid is having all of these headaches and migraines. Hawkins is just knocking his head against everything, and he's just crushing like these pillars and just buzzing his head over and over. Now, remember, when Hawkins links his life with an individual, any damage he does to himself doesn't even get felt by him. So he could cut into his arm, but it won't affect him because it's only hurting the person his life is linked to. So he can bust his head on literally everything he wants to at full force with no adverse effects to his own body, but all of those massive effects. Like, imagine, if I just bust my head on my wall. I'm not going to do an example because not only do I like my wall, but I like my head unsmashed. Imagine just busting your head on the wall, the pain, the migraines, the soreness of the skin, the big old knot that's going to come up on your head from hitting it. That's not going to affect Hawkins whatsoever, simply because of his devil fruit ability. And he's doing this on purpose, knowing that Killer cannot retaliate. And Killer is just laughing because of, the defective smile he ate, saying, "Stop it, Hawkins! Just stop!" And he's just laughing. And Hawkins is not only smiling, but he's laughing. I don't think we've ever seen Hawkins smile and laugh before. That's concerning. That's like hearing Batman laugh for the first time. I'm concerned. I've never seen Hawkins smile and laugh before, and he just says like,
I can't believe you ate a smile fruit. You couldn't possibly be more miserably misfortunate, killer.
And Hawkins is laughing, just saying, please, just stop it. And I guess the crew of Kid is saying, Killer, how come we're not allowed to help?
What's with that guy? Is he crazy? He's just slamming his head into the pillar.
And Hawkins doesn't say anything. And Killer just says, just shut up and stay put.
Then why don't you fight, sir?
It's so frustrating to watch. The fire is creeping closer. We need to be getting out of here. And Killer and and he says this as there's blood. And when he laughs, he's coughing up blood, and blood is coming through his mask, and even Killer's mask is cracked now. And he says, I ask you, release Kid. You can have my life in exchange. And Hawkins doesn't say anything, but he kicks Killer. Killer!
Kid is fighting with Big Mom right now, I gather. Will he succeed at his dream of hunting down an Emperor of the Sea? It's good to set your sights high.
And then Killer says, yeah, so stop sabotaging him. And Hawkins continues. Wow, we got a whole bunch of dialogue with Hawkins and Kid right now. It continues into the next panel, but I don't know what that one says.
If I'm preventing you from succeeding, then cut me down with those scythes. Or surrender, if you'd prefer. I'd put in a good word for you with Kaido. Either way, you stand no chance at all of winning this battle. You've seen the simple facts for yourself.
And he just says this as he's stomping on Killer's mask.
Now you know why they've ruled over this sea for so long. You must have felt it in your core biological instincts. There is no way to beat them.
And it shows Kaido and Big Mom in Hawkins' head. So the moment Kaido landed on that little meeting that Kid, Killer, Hawkins, and Apu had, he knew from right that moment that he had no chance of ever beating Kaido. And the only way he could survive was to join him. And Killer continues saying, don't get emotional now. Besides, I know that deep down you regret the decision you made back then. Don't you? Sorry, I had to lower my voice for him. I can't use the exact same voice. Because you feared dying in this future, and here we are still standing. And it shows Hawkins. It shows a flashback of Kaido saying, I will gladly take you if you agree to join me. And Hawkins is surprised by this, and then he says, we'll see who's regretting it in the end. Since we're talking about living without regrets, I guess I'll do just that. Got to sink or swim, or the other. Oh wait, this is Killer saying this. Gotta sink or swim one way or the other. I have 2 questions for you. If you take damage without a proper conduit, where does that damage go? Oh, ooh, is he figuring out that if he cuts off Hawkins' arm or tries to cut off his arm, is he trying to figure out if he does that, then Kid is safe? Because that's where that little voodoo doll is in Hawkins that's linking him to Kid. Is he figuring that out? But let me reread this. I have 2 questions for you. If you take damage without a proper conduit, where does that damage go? And Hawkins says, what do you mean? You should know how my power works by now. All of the damage I take goes straight to Kid as long as I hold his stroll doll within my body.
Yo! Oh! Oh! He did it! He did it! He did it! Oh! Oh! He did it! He did it! Killer did it! He figured it out! He figured it out! Oh yeah! Come on, Killer! I called this! I called this! I called this last month! Woo! I called this
What if Killer figured out that if he cuts off the arm that's holding the doll, will that release Kid from Hawkins? And he, in one swift, instant motion, takes off not just the arm, but the entire shoulder. He takes off the whole arm in one swift stroke. And the Beast Pirates are looking like, what? And Hawkins is looking absolutely shocked at his missing arm right now. And Hawkins, wow, this absolutely shocks Hawkins. His arm is completely cut off and he's bleeding. He's bleeding out of his arm and he's screaming out in pain. Ah! How did you cut off my arm? The damage should have gone to... And then that's when... Wait. Has Hawkins thought that Kid just having a metal arm over his arm was him just having metal over an arm? Did he not know that Kid's arm was completely metal? Did he not know that his arm was missing? All this time?
Basil, my boy, it was at this moment Hawkins knew. He messed up.
Oh my good, how did you not know? As long as you were with them during the meeting, you couldn't put two to two together? But Hawkins says, How did you cut off my arm? The damage should have gone to... And that's when Killer surprises him by saying, Kid has no left arm. And this causes Hawkins' eyes, and he's sweating right now, and he's nervous, and his eyes go slightly bloodshot. And then we have Killer saying, second question. Once I take this one out, how many lives are protecting your own? And it shows Killer is holding Hawkins' arm as he's pulling the doll out. And Hawkins says, congratulations, that's the last one. And he's thinking to himself, darn it, I didn't count on this. And then he pulls out a card. Strawman card. Death upright. And it shows the giant, massive straw man. It shows the giant, massive straw man that he can form out of his sword. It goes towards Killer with a massive scythe, saying, the card of destruction. It means I can finally end your miserable life myself. And it shows the straw man bearing down on the straw man, and Killer, without even batting an eye, not only cuts through the scythe, not only cuts through the head of the giant straw man, but he cuts through the scythe as well in one swift stroke with beheading claws. And all the Beast Pirates are there saying, his straw man! And then it shows Killer jumping on the back of the straw man's body towards Hawkins. And then Hawkins says, that straw man will not perish. It will come back to life as the cards dictate. And he pulls out a card to try and read his fortune. Show me the ending of this fight. And apparently it's a tarot card of a tower with him thinking, the tower. And it shows Killer bearing down on him as Killer deals the final blow to Hawkins with Spinning Sonic. And he cuts through Hawkins, causing Hawkins to fall over. A massive upwards cut just straight through his body. And all of his cards just floating into the air as he falls to the ground, with the Beast Pirates in complete shock. And the other Kid Pirates going, you did it! Way to go, Killer! And it just shows Hawkins on the ground, out completely, with the tower card lying right next to him. And then it shows the Beast Pirate screaming out, Hawkins! Wow. He not only sliced completely through Hawkins, he sliced him completely vertically. Not just in the chest, but he sliced up Hawkins' face as well. And then here we go. We have some narration. In Strawman cards, the tower means, and it cuts to Big Mom facing off against
Hawk against Kid and Law, with Big Mom saying, "You seem to be in much better spirits now. What's going on, Kid?" And then it says it continues the narration. I prefer doing the narration in its entirety and then read the dialogue because it just seems disjointed whenever I do that for you guys. My apologies. In Strawman cards, the tower means the collapse of the old and brittle, and its hidden meaning is a new way forward. And then Kid gets up, smiling with his tongue sticking out of his mouth, saying, "My body feels much lighter." And then it shows Killer, covered in blood, but still standing over Hawkins, saying, "Get going, partner." And that's the end of the chapter. Wow, that's another fight done.
My boy Killer. Yo, your boy is smart. Whew. That was a good chapter. That was good. Yo, that was so good. That was a really good chapter. Let me just see what you guys have said. Let me say hi to Kohagen, Brandon, CJ, Tahiti, Anime Fellow, Ogata-san, Karma. It's good to see everyone here. This was a good chapter. I really like this chapter. This was a real good chapter. Okay, let me see what you guys have said. Big Mom is surprisingly agile. Surprisingly, have you seen that episode when Big Mom was fighting Kaido outside of Onigashima before they decided to join each other in an alliance? She jumped high into the air like she was like a bounce ball, basically. For a woman of her size, she is shockingly agile. Hawkins is hurting himself. That would hurt too, especially if you hit a stud or seeing or hearing Dr. Manhattan laugh. Yeah, there's basically seeing Hawkins laugh is akin to Batman laughing or Dr. Manhattan laughing. If he's laughing, that is cause for concern for everybody. Let me go back to the top. What's going on? Are we supposed to be dressed up for this reaction? I'm only in PJs. Tahiti, I'm only dressed up this way because of breast cancer awareness that First Lady of the church wanted us to get dressed in. I don't have anything pink, but this is the closest thing to pink that I have. And this comes from, this is just the only pink thing that I could have, that I had in my entire wardrobe. So this is what I wore to church today. That's why I'm buttoned all the way up to the top and I got this, and I'm wearing this. This is going to be the same shirt. I'm going to wash it after I'm done with this stream so it can be fresh. This is pretty much what I'm going to be wearing for the upcoming reflections as well, because this is the usual getup that I happen to wear, just the top half. Sanji's body is a reaction like a memory metal or meta material. Yes, we have superpowers. It's a higher class of reading. It's a higher class of reading. I don't know, man. There's something about a white Mario hat sitting in the background that just doesn't scream, that's entirely high class. Big Mom surprising agile. Hawkins has hurt himself. That would hurt, especially if he had a stud or seeing here in Dr. Manhattan laugh. I totally forgot Kid is taking Hawkins' damage. Exactly. Thought he was that weak. Such disappointment with Sanji. I wouldn't call it, I'm not disappointed in Sanji. He's having an existential crisis right now. The very thing he absolutely hates. He hates his family. He hates his family name. That's the reason why we didn't find out that he was a Vinsmoke until far off into the future, where we found out that he was the son of an entire, pretty much, kingdom of assassins. But he hates them due to his upbringing. So he's having an existential crisis that he's literally becoming like the very people he hates. And he's fearing that he will lose his humanity. The very thing that makes Sanji Sanji. He's running away because he's trying to it's literally messing with his mind right now. Of all the things that could possibly happen to Sanji, I would imagine a similar thing happening to Sanji if his hands were injured in some sort of way. He is a chef. He absolutely does his best to make sure his hands are not damaged in any way so he can always be in tip-top form of being a cook. I'd imagine he'd have like a mental moment if his hands were ever damaged. So him reacting this way, I understand, because he's becoming just like he remembers when his brother tried to fight him and he messed up his brother's face. He remembers his childhood where his siblings would beat up on him. He remembers his childhood where he was expected to be just like Ichi, Niji, Yonji, and Reiju, but they were all superhuman, so he couldn't keep he couldn't keep up. Hold on. Pinkies up. All the things that his brothers have done, such as one of his brothers injuring the face of Kosei just because Sanji chose to eat the food that she prepared off the floor, and they reacted and felt some way about it. He remembers all of his past memories of his family, and he absolutely hates it. He hates the name Vinsmoke. He hates being attached to it. He hates the fact that Vinsmoke is on his bounty poster. So, getting to this point in this fight with Queen and realizing that his body is starting to become like theirs, the very thing that he hates is happening to him. The very thing that makes his brothers and sister what they are is happening to Sanji. And you've seen how cold and how unfeeling they can be. I still got to go through the rest of chat. He sees how cold and distant and inhumane they can be. He's fearing that he's going to become like that. That's messing with his mind. It's causing him to second guess himself now. And that's why he's running away, because he can't get his thoughts straight. He's not just adapting to the fact that he has superpowers. It is something that it is something linked to people that he absolutely hates that's happening to him right now. So him running away, he can't get his mind together. That's why he's running from Queen. Let me see what y'all said, because I know you said a lot more. I know y'all said a lot more. I think this Germa thing is amazing because I highly doubt he'll lose his emotions. No, he still has his emotions. He's just scared that him gaining more power is going to cause that to happen. Not realizing that by him being the way he was from childhood and him being the way he is right now, pretty much confirmed that Sora was able to fulfill her own dying wish of ensuring that at least some of her children would remain human-like. You remain human, keep their humanity. Sanji's exploits that we've seen all throughout the years is clear evidence that he's still going to have his humanity. Him gaining all this power is not going to change Sanji, as long as he doesn't think it will. But Sanji's having difficulty coming to terms with this right now, and that's why he's running away. He could have dealt with his existential crisis after the fight. Like I said, Kohagen, this is something that is this is an emotional attachment, an emotional trench mentally for Sanji due to his upbringing and everything that links back to his family. So it's not something he's just going to put in the back of his mind as, I'll sort this out later. No, this is something that he has absolutely dreaded since he was a child. The expectations that Judge had over him, calling Sanji a failure simply because he didn't display any superhuman powers, proclaiming to the world that he had no son, and even staging a fake funeral for Sanji in order to ensure that no one he's basically said that you're dead to me as a son. All that stuff that's linked to him, that's emotional baggage that's coming back to Sanji right now. The very thing he's hated all his life is happening to him. So of course his mind, he's not right mentally right now. He's not just gonna push it off and just lock it up in a vault in the back of his brain. This is happening in the heat of the moment where emotions are high, so it's not like he's just gonna just push it to the back, Kohagen. That's not gonna happen, because this is too close to Sanji for him to just put it to the side. Hawkins didn't know, but I think he forgot. Yeah, Hawkins probably forgot that kid's arm was completely metal and thought he was doing something. I just hope Sanji was going to figure things out knowing Queen was going to follow him. Hawkins is really weak, like actually weak. He's only relying on his devil fruit. Now, what did we learn? What did we learn? we learned in the history of One Piece that people who rely too much on their devil fruit powers, it's even been quoted, people who rely on their devil fruit powers too much don't live very long. And Hawkins based literally the entire repertoire of everything that makes Hawkins around his devil fruit and misfortune and his ability to link his life with other people so that he can avoid full-on damage. That's the only reason why he didn't die when he faced off against Kizaru. Because he linked his body with other people so that him fighting an admiral never resulted in him ever getting harmed in any way. So he relied way too much on his devil fruit to allow him to survive things he pretty much should not have survived at all during the course of us knowing him throughout this entire series. So he was over-reliant on his devil fruit power, never adapting on the off chance that maybe his devil fruit power wouldn't work on someone. So, yeah, Hawkins is we don't know the fullest extent of his swordsmanship because we always see him resorting to either his straw man or resorting to his devil fruit powers to make it so that he can't be damaged at all. He relied way too much on mind games, such as when he was fighting against Law, he relied on the mind games of, hey, you can't do any harm to me, other Shachi, Beppo, and Penguin will get harmed. Your crew's life is in my hands, and if you do anything to me, it'll do something to them. And then we have another moment here on Onigashima where he linked his life to Kid so that Killer couldn't harm him. He relied way too much on mind games and his devil fruit abilities instead of actual physical prowess, which is why Killer was able to get this one-up on him and actually succeed in this fight. Relying way too much on one stat and then not putting a couple more points into other stats can make you very unbalanced, which is why Hawkins lost. He relied way too much on his devil fruit, not paying attention, For a fortune teller, he really didn't see this happening. He let fate, and the thing is, he's a fortune teller that allows fate to decide what happens to him. Like, sure, he has minor things of clairvoyance, but even then, it didn't help him because he still lost against Killer. What does the tower mean? The tower is commonly interpreted as meaning danger, crisis, destruction, and liberation. Well, liberation certainly played into these hands, and played into Kid's hands because he was liberated from Hawkins' power, and now he doesn't have to worry about being impaired during the fight between Law, himself, and Big Mom. So that's a whole nother loose end, done and done. Killer and Hawkins fight over. Now all we have left is King versus Zoro, Sanji versus Queen. We have Fukuro Kuju versus Raizo. We have Luffy versus Kaido, obviously. And I think that's it. As far as fights go, I don't think we have anything else. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but we really only have 4 major fights. Hold on. Luffy versus Kaido. Kid, Law versus Big Mom. Fukuro Kuju versus Raizo. And... Great, now I'm drawing a blank on the last one I just did. What was the other fight? There was another fight going on. Crap! I forgot it. Luffy versus Kaido. Kid versus King versus Zoro. Don't worry, I'm gonna get it. Luffy versus Kaido. King versus Zoro. Queen versus Sanji. Fukuro Kuju versus Raizo. And I think that's it. Yeah, 4 fights. 4 major fights left. That's it. Someone will correct me if I am wrong. If I am wrong, someone is going to correct me. If not now, then they're going to correct me in the comments later. Well, looks like Hawkins better get it popping with that straw arm. All that's left is Raizo versus Fukuro Kuju. Drake versus Apu. Forgot about that. Thank you, Ogata-san. You said that earlier on. Then we can move towards the all-star fights. So Fukuro Kuju and Drake versus Apu are the only side fights that are left. Then we have the Emperor fights between the Supernovas and the all-star fights between the members of the Monster Trio. Those are the only ones left. I hate that Sanji ran away, and I dislike the fact that Killer didn't cut his arm from the start and begged Hawkins like that, but I can get over it. See, I don't have an issue with either Sanji running away, and I don't have an issue with Killer going out of his way to beg Hawkins to stop. I mean, Killer, here's the thing. The thing about Killer not going from the start is he was unsure. I would imagine that he had to confirm his suspicions. He probably had some suspicions about it at first, but I feel like he may have wanted to check on that later. He may have wanted to try and get Hawkins to confirm if his suspicions were true. Whereas Hawkins, he couldn't do anything to Hawkins prematurely without being sure about it. So despite him wanting to do something to Hawkins, he was still kind of left at Hawkins' mercy, because Hawkins would have done something to himself and that would have done something to Kid. So he couldn't risk it. So that's why he couldn't go out of his way to try. That's why he could only verbally ask Hawkins to stop hurting himself so that it wasn't hurting Kid. He was kind of in a bit of a bind that he couldn't really resolve for himself. Killer was a beast in this chapter. He was smart too. Yes, the two questions that he asked him, that was the moment he figured it out. And it was a good thing that Hawkins, it was fate. In playing off a theme here, it was fate that the doll was in Hawkins' arm that also happened to be Kid's missing left arm, and Killer figuring out his suspicions and whether or not he could cut that arm off completely and it wouldn't harm Kid at all. I'm glad we saw that happen in this chapter. This was one of my favorite individual fights too. My favorite is the Franky versus Sasaki fight, Robin versus Black Maria, and then Killer versus Hawkins. Franky versus Sasaki was wild. Seeing Sasaki turn himself into a mini dinosaur airplane, helicopter, and then Franky fighting him. Black Maria versus Robin, that was, out of all the Straw Hats who have fought, I liked Robin's fight versus Black Maria the most out of all the Straw Hat fights that we've seen going through here, even more than Jinbei's. But Robin versus Black Maria I put that as the top Straw Hat fight out of this entire, out of everything we've seen thus far. Now, Luffy versus Kaido, that's still ongoing, so that could change how things go. But out of all the rest of the Straw Hats, Robin is top of the list for me. We'll have to see how Sanji versus Queen goes, and we have to see how Zoro versus King goes. But I feel like Zoro versus King is going to be good. That's what I feel. At least we could say that Killer's Sonic-based abilities bypasses defenses like Kaido's Scales earlier. Exactly. At the end of the day, Sanji needs to accept his awakened power. He's just freaking out and he's not going to lose his emotions. Yeah, Sanji's just basically freaking out right now. He's overreacting. He's freaking out. That's why he's running away, because he's got to put his mind together. Sanji needs to remember his mother because he is not a failure. Sanji's still going to have his emotions, but Sanji shouldn't retreat from an ongoing fight with the fourth strongest villain. Shape memory alloy is another more proper term for how Sanji's body is reacting. He is running away, yes, but later on he's going to continue fighting Queen. He is just freaking out. Yeah. People tend to overreact a lot in One Piece, and it's got them beside themselves, and then they got to calm down, and then they start to put two and two together. Not related to the chapter, but what if Momo drops Onigashima on the CP0 ships? That might happen. Ooh. Honest opinion on the fights so far? My honest opinion... Are you asking me, Karma, on my opinion on the fight so far? Honest opinion? I feel like Ulti and Page 1 were possibly the Ulti fights between Nami, Usopp with Page 1 and Ulti. I feel like those may have been the weakest ones. I probably put them at the bottom of the list because they both got done in by Big Mom. It wasn't necessarily Usopp or Nami who knocked them out. It was Big Mom. Big Mom knocked out Page 1 with a Conqueror's Haki imbued punch, and Big Mom took down Ulti using a combination of Hera, Napoleon, and Prometheus with her Maser Cannon. So Sanji, why do I keep saying Sanji? Nami and Usopp really didn't get the really big moments where they took down someone far more powerful than them. Sure, there was a moment where Nami used Zeus to shoot lightning straight through Ulti, but it didn't keep her down. It was Big Mom who took down Ulti. Right? Hold on. I gotta confirm myself before I gotta check myself before I wreck myself. Ulti. One Piece. Okay. Wanna. No. Nami actually. Oh, wow. My bad. Let me correct myself right now. Nami did defeat Ulti. It was Nami who did it, not Big Mom. Big Mom shot her Maser Cannon through Ulti. I'm correcting myself now before you start writing in the comments, everyone. Not to you in chat. I'm talking to the people who are going to be watching this video later. I'm correcting myself right now. Nami was the one who dealt the finishing blow to Ulti. So Nami actually did succeed in taking down someone who is taking down someone who is stronger than them. Usopp was along for the ride, but I still rank Ulti and Page One's fights at the bottom of the list. Now, let me continue. Law and Kid might be doing something to Big Mom, but they will not defeat Big Mom here. I think defeating one of her allies will weaken her, maybe Napoleon. Let me see. So, now that Kid is back on his feet again, Law and Kid can fight Big Mom. Now, whether that's actually gonna have, whether it's actually going to succeed in taking down Big Mom, or at least making it so that she can't fight anymore, that remains to be seen. We're not going on break with this chapter, so we'll just have to wait until the next chapter to figure that one out. But when it comes to let me get back to the Tobi Roppo fights. Ulti and Page One are at the bottom. Sasaki is next after that. Then we have Who's Who. Then we have Black Maria. And then that's pretty much it for the Tobi Roppo fights. Because Diaz Drake is no longer a part of the Tobi Roppo, so we can't count him in that list because he's fighting Apu right now. But as far as that list goes, Ulti, Page One at the bottom, then Sasaki, then Who's Who, then Black Maria. And that pretty much makes up the list of all the Tobi Roppo fights. Because Robin versus Black Maria was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Not saying that any of the other fights don't match up to it, but all the rest of the fights don't match up to it. So Robin versus Black Maria was by far the best Tobi Roppo fight out of everybody. I think Queen will kidnap either Nami, Carrot, or Tama to force Sanji to wear the raid suit. Sanji will see Robin too. I think Big Mom will lose, but remain an Emperor of the Sea after Wano. I can't see Kid or Law becoming an Emperor. I feel it's too soon for the changing of the Yonkos right now. It is far too soon. Even in this entire Wano arc that's going on right now, it's far too soon for there to be a changing of the Emperors. We'll have to see what happens after the fight with Luffy versus Kaido, though, and what's going to happen with the world government and them saying, hey, we're going to take control of this country if Kaido loses. That's just going to open up a whole brand new can of worms. So we're just going to have to see what's going to happen then. And remember, we still have Momo outside learning how to use Flame Cloud so he can stop Onigashima from getting to the Flower Capital, because as Yamato said, she said that Kaido's flame clouds are getting weaker. So Momo has to create new flame clouds that are stronger than his current flame clouds to keep Onigashima from dropping on both on dropping on the Flower Capital and basically killing everyone on the Flower Capital and Onigashima because of all the massive explosives and countless weapons that they have on Onigashima in its entirety. Because if it drops, the nuke's gonna go off on the entire country. So that's going on. Yamato's still running through Onigashima, I guess, doing her own thing. It's not too many loose ends that we have to tie up. I'm just glad that they're starting to get tied up, because there's not much new stuff being revealed other than Orochi still being alive, but he's basically an afterthought right now because he basically has nothing really to offer in terms of narrative, because either he's just going to get killed again or he's going to get exiled from Wano, and then, well, he's not really going to survive outside of Wano. I think Luffy's still the one who will be the Emperor, whether Luffy defeats Kaido here or not after Wano's. Luffy's still going to be an Emperor because he challenged an Emperor. If challenging an Emperor makes you an Emperor, then Kid would be considered an Emperor as well, but he's not. Just because he took on Shanks does not qualify him to be able to be considered an Emperor. Because if it was that easy, then everyone else who took on an Emperor would be considered one. And there have been countless people who have tried to take on emperors and failed. So it's too soon for Luffy to even be considered an emperor right now. Sure, he's entered into the power territory of emperors, but I don't consider Luffy an emperor yet. It's not like if Luffy beats Wano, if Luffy beats Wano, if Luffy beats Kaido, then that automatically makes him an emperor. I mean, unless he kills Kaido, Kaido's still gonna be around. And I don't know how the whole process of being fully recognized as a Yonko goes. So I don't know if anyone else is gonna acknowledge Luffy as an emperor and where it's gonna go from there. So it's too soon to say anything about what Luffy's standing in the world and what his status is going to be like after this arc is over. There's still things to tie up here before we start talking about that. I think Luffy will ultimately incapacitate Kaido via KO, but will not kill him, allowing CP0 to capture him, thus freeing Wano from Kaido, and occupying CP0 will take Kaido to Impel Down. But we are in the end game of One Piece right now. We are, but remember, this is One Piece. We still got arcs to go through. We may be in the last saga, but we are not in the last bit of chapters. We still have so much more to go through. So Luffy is not there yet. He's not. He's not in endgame territory yet. The story is not even in endgame territory yet. It's just entering into it. It's just now entering into it. So we're not at the point where Thanos teleports to the Avengers base and Iron Man and Thor are standing there waiting to fight him. We're not at that stage yet. We're at the stage where the Avengers gets to Thanos' farmhouse on that far-off planet, and then we have to go through the whole extra hour before we get to the end of the movie. That's where this story is at right now. It's at the beginning where Thanos gets his head cut off. That's where we're at. We're not at the on your left moment and then the portals start opening up. We're not there. We're not at that endgame yet. Have either of you seen those videos in which the Yonko or Straw Hats are drawn as a Spada using Kubo's type of art style before? I have never seen that. I may have to look that up later, CJ. Let's see. Can Kid not just take Napoleon? I don't see why he hasn't tried. It's not like Napoleon is so unique as a homie that Kid can't just take him. Hasn't he taken him before? I feel like he's taken Napoleon before and tried to rip him away from Big Mom. I might be wrong, but I don't see why Kid hasn't tried. To me, Luffy reached Emperor status when he split the sky. See, here's the thing. I know I said it during my reflections that I feel like Luffy is there in that territory. But for him to be fully recognized as an emperor, officially, he's gonna have to beat another Yonko for him to be fully recognized. See, when he split the sky with Kaido, that was the moment it was all like, okay, Luffy's right there. But in my opinion, for him to be fully recognized, is he has to beat Kaido. We catch a glimpse of Luffy entering into the territory as a Yonko, and you might as well consider him one among them. But officially, for the story, he has to beat Kaido for him to be officially recognized as one. As much as I love the idea of Luffy being known as a Yonko, going through his adventures, and then eventually entering into Elbaf as a Yonko, that would be sick to see. He has to be officially recognized first. But that's just my opinion, Sensei. I just feel like he has to beat Kaido in order for that status to be official for him. Even though he split this heavens, and that's something only Yonkos can do. And it's tricky for me to just solidify on the idea, because I called Luffy a Yonko and considered him in the territory of Yonkos, and might as well consider him a Yonko back then when I did my reflections. And here I'm like, there's still some things he has to go through, but at the same time, he did this one thing that only Yonkos can do, so it's tricky for me to solidify on just one mere thought about it. I think about it a lot, Sensei. So it's not like I'm saying that you're wrong by saying that Luffy splitting the sky pretty much puts him in Emperor status. I just feel like the story has to recognize him as an official Yonko before I can be 100% on board. I'm 90% on board, but the story has to recognize him as a full-on Yonko for me to be 100% on board with it, and then I'll start arguing with people saying, no, he's a Yonko, shut up. That moment has to happen in the chapters themselves before I go along on the full-on Luffy is a Yonko bandwagon. That's the only stipulation. Only Yonkos can split the heavens, because only Yonkos have the requirements for that. Exactly. But whatever Oda takes the story, it's going to be amazing. If Oda says Luffy is officially an emperor, he is an emperor. And if Oda puts in the chapters that Luffy is fully recognized as an emperor, it cannot be disputed. It doesn't matter how people feel about it, whether they hate it or not. Oda writes it into the story, it is official. So when Oda officially writes Luffy as a Yonko into the story, no one can say anything about it. Well, they can say anything. Well, they can say whatever they want, but it ain't gonna change the fact that he'll be fully recognized and written into the story as one. So when Oda officially puts that on print and we see it, can't nobody touch it ever. Ever. Can no one dispute it? Can no one say, like, Luffy's not as strong as Kaido, so why is he known as Yonko? Nuh-uh, shut it up. If Oda puts it in the chapter, you follow like a good little boy or girl. Let's see. Straw Hat Luffy, the 5th Emperor, has arrived. News, Coups, International Syndicate. Oh, I gotta do my voice.
I have to do my Alistair news reporter voice. Straw Hat Luffy, the 5th Emperor, has arrived. News Coups International Syndicated News Outlet. Sounds like recognition to me.
But that's how it's going to go. I mean, they already printed it into the paper that Luffy was already they were already calling Luffy an emperor, but the moment it gets fully recognized in a newspaper, that's when the world is going to shift. Overall, let me not keep you here longer than I already have. I'm already approaching an hour. It's like at 58 minutes right now. Sorry for keeping you guys here for too long. I'm glad we're able to talk with this and everything. What is 5th Emperor in Japanese? Gonko? Gonko. Yonko Gonko. I got that video up on a secondary tab, CJ. This chapter was great, 8 out of 10. I figured it was a 9 out of 10 chapter because I say 9 out of 10 chapter for me because it confirmed my suspicions. It confirmed my prediction as well. If Killer cuts off Hawkins' left arm, then it's not going to affect Kid, and then Kid will be free, and then Killer will be able to take down Hawkins. That's exactly what happened in this chapter, so my predictions were correct. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to the next chapter because we're not going on break. We are not going on break. So now we get to see more Yonko fights because less Tobi Roppo and less members who are affiliated with them are down. So overall, overall, I enjoyed this chapter, and I'm looking forward to the next one. We are not going on break next week, like I said, so we're getting both a One Piece chapter and a My Hero Academia chapter as well. As you know, I said I'm going to do the reflections as well, so the One Piece reaction is going to be extra long due to me incorporating the reflections in it, and then the My Hero Academia chapter will be directly after. And there I go. I just hit an hour long for this reaction. Apologies, everyone, if I've gone too long. But I just enjoy myself when I talk to you guys about One Piece, and whenever I do this, it is just a massive joy to do this because this is my passion. This is where all of the majority of my energy and mentality and creativity goes because this is what I love to do. And I just want to say thank you for helping support this channel, whether it's through your viewship, whether it's through your likes or subscribing to the channel, or even the super chats that I see on occasion. I just want to say thank you for every bit of support that you have shown me over the years. Many of you have been with me for years now, and some of you have only been with me for months, and some of you are watching me for the very first time. I just want to say thank you. You haven't trespassed, have you? No, you haven't. You're perfectly all right. I already got the video up in my side tab so I can watch it. But I just want to say thank you for helping this channel, everything that I do here, be a success. It really means the world to me. You guys are amazing. I am thankful to have subscribers and such a great community that this channel has helped build over this long period of time. I just want to say thank you for welcoming me, a person that you guys didn't even know, just some random dude on YouTube just trying to make videos. You guys have helped this channel go from being a 100 subscriber channel, entertainment channel, to a 2600 subscriber entertainment channel. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You help make this channel amazing, and I'm incredibly grateful to have wonderful people like you helping this make a wonderful place for more people to be able to be entertained by. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then liking and subscribing will help this channel a lot, because liking will help the YouTube algorithm sort me out and get me more noticed so I can entertain more people. And subscribing helps it so that you guys can always be able to be entertained by whatever I upload next, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. I love my job. Love it.